Okay everyone, we're from group 4. We'll be presentation about our material sign language. Before we start our presentation today, let me introduce our group. My name is Radha Anastasia, and the other member is Asal Rizky Maulana Ansori, Dewi Maharani, and the last one Nasya Putri Nasyatul. So in this material, we have 5 points. The first one is arbitrariness, iconicity, morphology of sign language, phonology of sign language, and the last one, conference in language. So, first material will be presentation by myself. Arbitrariness. What is arbitrariness? Arbitrariness is no connection between sight, form, and its meaning. This relationship is socially determined. So next one is sign language is not always or is not a pantomime. Mosaic are not immediately understandable without learning, similar to spoken words. Next one is iconicity is not transparency. While some signs are iconic, resembling the object by they represent, so their meaning remains arbitrary and must be learned. For example, the sign for tree in ASL or American Sign Language uses the arm to represent a trunk and fingers for branches. The sign for tree in Chinese Sign Language or CSL is different, even though both are iconic. So, sign language may have more iconic elements than spoken languages, but they still exhibit arbitrariness, making them legitimate and unique language system.
Alright, I'm the second speaker in this presentation, and my name is Dewi Ratna Agustiarini, and today I want to talk about iconicity in sign language. What is iconicity? Iconicity is when a sign in sign language actually looks like the thing it represents. For example, the sign for tree in ASL or American Sign Language is made by holding one arm up like a tree trunk while the fingers on the other hand spread out like leaves. The sign for drink looks like you're holding an invisible cup and bringing it to your mouth. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, these signs make sense just by looking at them. But not all signs are iconic. Now, here's the thing. Not all signs in sign language are iconic. Some are totally random or arbitrary, meaning they don't like their meaning at all. For example, in American Sign Language, the sign for hungry is just rubbing your hand down your chest. It doesn't really look like hunger, so you wouldn't guess it without learning. Plus, different sign language have their own version for the same concept. The sign for tree in ASL is totally different from the one Chinese Sign Language. For example, in ASL or American Sign Language, tree is signed with one arm standing straight like a trunk, while the other hand rests on the elbow and fingers spread like lips. In Chinese Sign Language or CSL, tree is usually signed by forming a motion like hugging a tree trunk and sliding the hands upward. So yeah, iconicity helps, but it's not a magic trick where you can just guess every sign. Even though not all signs are iconic, iconicity still has some cool benefits. Studies show that beginners find iconic signs easier to learn, and it helps them to remember meanings faster, and it can speed up how we recognize words in sign language. But of course, there are some downsides too. Some signs don't look anything like their meaning, so you still have to memorize them. And iconicity isn't universal, so what looks like a tree in one sign language might be something totally different in another. Iconicity makes some signs easier to understand because they look like what they meant, but not all signs are iconic. Some are completely random and must be learned. Every sign language is different, so an iconic sign in one language might be not the same in another. Basically, sign language is superficial, visual, but You still have to learn it just like any other language. That's all from me, and thank you so much.
Morphology of sign language. Definition of morphology in sign language. Morphology in sign language is the study of how the smallest linguistic units form meaning in visual gesture communication. Unlike spoken language, which rely on sound, sign language use hand movement, facial expression, and spatial organization as subtle elements. Sign language is not just a collection of gesture or pantomimes, but has complex grammatical rules, including morphology and syntax, similar to spoken language. Morphological elements, including free and bound morphemes, inflection in sign language, derivation in sign language, computing in sign language, and last, reduplication in sign language. Free and bound morphemes. Free morphemes are signs that can stand alone and have complete meaning. For example, in American Sign Language or ESL, it and house. Bound morphemes must be combined with other signs to form meaning. For example, in ESL, tense inflection, modifying movement to indicate past or future. Aspect inflection, repeating or extending movement to show the duration of an action. B. Inflection in sign language. Inflection in sign language often occurs through change in direction, intensity, or repetition of movement. Tense inflection in ESL, moving the hand backward indicate the past, yesterday, while moving forward indicate the future. In Bisindo or Indonesian Sign Language, a similar concept is applied with movement change to mark time. Aspect inflection. In ESL, saying work quickly so working hard, while slow movement shows working casually. In Bisindo, extending the movement of walk can mean walk leisurely. Subject-object inflection. In ESL, verbs like give can be directed toward a subject or object to indicate who is giving to whom. In Bisindo, sign like point can be directed different individual to indicate specific references. Derivation in sign language. Derivation in sign language involves forming new words from a baseline by adding morphological elements. For example, in ESL, teach modified movement to become teacher, and learn modified to become student. For example, in Bisindo, write modified to become writer, and speak modified to become speaker. Computing in sign language. Computing is the process of combining two sign to writer, and speak modified to become speaker. Computing in sign language. Computing is the process of combining two signs to create a new meaning. For example, in ESL, mother, father, parents, and son sign, son sign. For example, in Bisindo, run, fast, to sprint, and school plus home and homeschooling. Reduplication in sign language. Reduplication involves repeating a sign to indicate quantity, intensity, or repetition of an action. For example, in ESL, repeating the sign for tree can mean forest. Repeating people can indicate many people. For example, in Bisindo, repeating walk can mean strolling. Repeating friend can indicate many friends. Form of facial expression and space in morphology. Sign language also utilize facial expression, head movement, and space to convey morphology. For example, in ESL, raising eyebrows while saying "whoa" indicate a question. And For example, shaking the head while signing. Want means do not want. For example, in Bisindo, furrowing the brow while signing. Like indicate a question. And shaking the head while signing like means do not like.
Much. I'm going to talk about the phonology of sign language, specifically in the ESL or the American Sign Language. Unlike spoken languages, the phonology of sign languages is perceived through sight. There are five parameters that can be used in phonological structure of sign languages, such as hand configuration or hand shape, hand movement, hand orientation, hand location, as well as facial expression. So let's have a look at minimal pairs, since minimal pairs fall under phonology of spoken languages as well as sign languages. So in English spoken language, there are tones of minimal pairs, but three were chosen to be presented here. So one, bet, the words bet and pet. So these words actually are pronounced, or the way they sound are actually or nearly the same. The difference is just at the beginning of the sound, the b and the p sound. So the difference is in the beginning of the sound. The second one is fresh and flesh. So the difference of the sound can be heard in the middle of the word. And the third one is wink and link. So this is as the first one, the difference of the sound can be heard at the beginning of the word. In minimal pairs of ASL, the words onion and apple are considered minimal pairs. I mean, actually, the words, the way we sound the words are totally different, but in this case, we're not looking at how the words pronounced, but we're looking at the structure or the parameters that differ, like the difference in the parameters, the 5 parameters that I have mentioned. So in the ASL, in order to sign the word, we have to look at the 5 parameters. And for the word onion, the hand shape should be bent. The orientation, the palms should be facing towards the face. The location, the finger should be near the eye. And for the movement, there should be twisting at the wrist. And for the facial expression, for this expression, the face should be as natural as possible. So for the onion, it should be signing like this. However, for apple, the hand shape is actually the same as the hand shape that we did for onion. The orientation is also the same. The movement is also the same. The expression, the facial expression is the same. But the different thing is that the location of the hand. So in onion, the location is just right near the eye. But for the apple, for signing the word apple, the location should be dragging down to the level of the cheek. So this is how we sign for the word apple. So you see here, so for the 4 parameters, they're exactly the same, but only one parameter that differs from the other 4. So because of the difference in the, small unit difference in the parameters, this word is considered, and these words are considered minimal pairs. I think this is what I wanted to present in my presentation. Thank you so much for being attentive.
Okay, now I'm going to explain about conference in ASL. Conference is about how different words in a sentence refer to the same thing in spoken languages. We use nouns like the principal and pronouns like he to refer to this same person. In American Sign Language or ASL, conference is handled differently.
ASL use space to indicate who or what a sign refers to. There are two types of pronouns in ASL. The first one is overt pronouns. These are shown by pointing to a specific space assigned to a person or object. The second one is null pronouns. Instead of pointing, the verb is signed in the space of the given, making it clear who is involved without using an explicit pronoun. For example, instead of signing he blamed her, ASL would sign blame while moving from the space assigning to Bill to the space assigned to Jill. This keeps the meaning clear without needing separate pronouns like he or she. Research show that when people see a pronoun, they automatically think of person it refers to. This happen in both spoken language and ASL. In ASL, even null pronouns, just signing the verb in the right space help people understand and reference quickly.
So thank you guys for your explanation. The last one is conclusion. So psych language is arbitrariness. Despite having iconic that is not always transparent, in morphology and phonology, it uses movement, speech, and facial expression like phonemes and grammar in spoken language. Despite different modalities, sign language has a legitimate and complex linguistic structure. Maybe that's all from our group. Thank you so much for your attention and having a thank you.